This career profile presentation is on adoption counseling or an adoption counselor. So, an example organization is a Child's Hope, which is a government, I don't remember, I'm sorry, but it's a organization in North Carolina. So there's that, and I don't personally know anyone have a career contact, so that's nothing. So the working environment. So you're often working within a government agency or a private adoption service agency, and they're pretty family friendly. And it's a full time job. It's like I don't know like exact hours, but like 9 to 5 example. And sometimes or a lot of times you're on call because you're working with pregnant mothers, and a lot of times you'll need to be there when baby's born, and that can happen anytime, day or night. So a lot of time you'll be on call a lot. And so typical stressors, there's deadlines. There's always deadlines involved, and that's hard. But it can be emotionally draining because you're working with birth mothers and adoptive families, and sometimes that can be really hard because it's a stressful situation. Trying to help mothers decide whether they want to give their children up for adoption it's an emotional thing, and it can drain you. And overall, it's just really stressful as you're working with the birth parents and the adoptive parents alike. And so typical benefits, I think I couldn't really find any typical benefits, but it probably just depends on who your employer is. And yeah, and their like compensation for things, maybe like driving to and going on call things and health insurance stuff. So that just depends on your employer. So, common job task. You'll be working with birth parents and adoptive parents and adoptees. So, because sometimes you're not always working with babies, you're also working with older children who are in need of being adopted or who will be going to foster families. So, yeah, see, that's another thing. You'll be working with foster families to support the families and the foster care, foster families and the adoptive parents, and you'll be working with all of those through the process, because some people will go into foster care and others will be adopted, so there's two sides of the process. So you will provide counseling to all of them and ensure that the new family, so the newly formed family, is doing well, and ensure that they are integrating well. You'll help the birth parents through the process and fully understand what giving up their parental rights means when they sign that line, when they say that they were giving their child up for adoption. And you'll help find homes for these babies and for older children. Sometimes you help counsel with adopted children too. That's another part of the job. You work with social workers in some cases, and you help educate the clients about the whole process and the laws and all the legal ramifications. Yeah, sorry. And you'll help facilitate legal arguments, and you'll be a mediator in between them. And so there's a lot. It's a full-time job. It's got a big workload, and so, but it's worth it in the end. So, educational requirements. There are multiple. Most of them you'll need a bachelor's in social work, psychology, or counseling, or you can, better yet, a master's in any of those three. You'll need to have different knowledge on adoption laws and father's rights, and sometimes they might vary from state to state, and depending on what agency you're working with, you'll also need to know the international adoption laws. And so a starting salary, I didn't really find starting and experience salary, but I did find one salary was I found an application for A Child Hope is the organization I mentioned before, but I found an application and they said their salary was $31,996, and then the average is about $45,000. But that's depending on where you work, it may be more, it may be less. It's not a high paying job, but I think overall it would be worth it because you're helping children find a home and helping them find families, and it's just, I think it's a good job and it'll be worth it. And thank you for watching my presentation. Have a good day.